Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Saturday morning meditation. So the first thing that we do whenever we sit down to meditate is to establish our motivation. So whatever kind of morning you've had, we've all over here for the retreat, so you've probably had a great morning. You might want to hold on to that. But otherwise, I would say leave the morning you've had at the door, and we can just center ourselves and our intention for the practice. So we'll take a moment to generate compassion for all sentient beings and to make the wish that our meditation practice will benefit them. We can give rise to bodhicitta, the compassionate wish to free all sentient beings from suffering. And then we'll say 379 prayer. I'm just going to pull this up for those online. Okay. Morgan Yugi Numjan Sam Pemage Sardompola Yatsen Chogi Ngodrubne Pema Jongne Jesudag Kordu Kondro Mangpo Kor Ketki Jesudag Drupki Jinji Lop Chia Sheksu So Guru Pema Siddhi Home Organ Yugi Numjan Sam Pemage Sardompola Yatsen Chogi Ngodrubne Pema Jongne Jesudag Kordu Kondro Mangpo Kor Ketki Jesudag Drupki Jinji Lop Chia Sheksu So Guru Pema Siddhi Home Organ Yugi Numjan Sam Pemage Sardompola Yatsen Chogi Ngodrubne Pema Jongne Jesudag Kordu Kondro Mangpo Kor Ketki Jesudag Drupki Jinji Lop Chia Sheksu So Guru Pema Siddhi Home. Right. So the meditation that we'll be doing today is called Shamatha meditation or calm abiding meditation. And I'm sure all of you are familiar with it, but for those online, this is taught by Jetsma Akan Lamo in her book, Stabilizing the Mind. And this practice is common to all Buddhist traditions, and you don't have to be Buddhist to practice it. So there's many types of meditation. In the world, many different religions have forms of meditation, and they each have different purposes. And I think it's important to know that not all types of meditation are the same, because when people say, oh, I meditate, it doesn't necessarily mean they meditate like you do. We're in the same tradition. Lots of people meditate. There's many ways to meditate, and there's many reasons to meditate. This meditation is intended to train our mind to be calm and relaxed while also being alert and wakeful. And the natural state of the mind is a state of being relaxed, stable, and open. But that's not our usual experience of our mind, because our mind is usually really stirred up with our thoughts and emotions, and it's very unstable. We're very emotions come, we're up, we're down, we're kind of just the experience of the mind winds up being kind of like watching TV flip through the channels, but you don't know where the remote is. You don't know who's flipping the channels. It's just like commercials all day long, or to all different good shows, bad shows. um, so by doing this meditation, we can create space in the mind, and that space in the mind helps us to balance our emotions. It helps us come to see that we are not our thoughts. We start to be able to have some spaciousness and identify with the spaciousness in which our thoughts arise and subside, instead of thinking that we are every thought that comes through our head. And the space in the mind also helps us, it gives us some buffer room between whatever happens in our life and our reaction to it. So instead of kind of blindly running along like a chicken with your head cut off, just reacting to anything that happens, we can actually see what is in front of us. We can see our reaction to it, our emotional reaction, and we can choose our response. So our reaction doesn't have to be the response. We can see the reaction arise and we can choose, what do we want to do with that anger? What do we want to do with that joy? Any emotion. We can choose what to do with it instead of having it control us and steer the ship. And this space in the mind is also the first step in the development of bodhicitta, or the compassionate wish to free all sentient beings from suffering. So as Buddhists, giving rise to the bodhicitta is the most important thing we can do. That is the only way to attain enlightenment. As Mahayana Buddhists, the only way to attain enlightenment is through arising bodhicitta, through helping all beings attain liberation from suffering. So this meditation is the first step in giving rise to that bodhicitta that is essential on the path. So let's take a comfortable seat. You can sit in a chair or cross-legged on the floor, and place your hands in your lap, gently relaxed. Traditionally, we put one hand in the other with the thumbs touching, and place the thumbs just below your navel, but you can also just rest your hands on your thighs. And then check in with your posture. You can imagine a thread going up your spine and up the crown of your head, and just tug on that thread to pull your spine nice and tall. Your shoulders are open, slightly back, just so you have good posture, not in a natural way. And your elbows are out a bit, so you've got a lot of room around your rib cage. You have room to breathe. We're not collapsing in on ourselves we're sitting up nice and tall with room around our rib cage. By making sure that the breath is able to move unobstructedly through the body helps our thoughts move unobstructedly through the mind without us getting caught up in them and stagnated. So every part of our posture is a support for the meditation. Then your eyes will remain open, looking downwards, following the line of your nose. You can imagine a line going down your nose, down, down, down to the ground. And just find a place along that line where it's comfortable to rest your gaze. And then place the tip of your tongue right behind your front teeth. It's like saying the letter L. And allow yourself to relax completely and breathe normally. Just relax into your natural rhythm of breathing. And then put a very light attention on your breathing. Don't try to control it at all. Just breathe naturally with the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. It's like taking your pulse. You don't put any pressure on it, just observe it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. And when thoughts come up, just let them go like bubbles popping on the surface of a pond. Don't even look to see what they are. You don't have to see if it's a good thought or a bad thought. Just let it go. Let it pop. Your meditation is not lost by hearing your thoughts, but by following them down the road. So as soon as you notice that you're following a thought, just drop it and return to your breath. And if it's really difficult for you to dismiss your thoughts, you can imagine using tongs to pick up the thought and drop it, or visualize cutting them with scissors and throwing them away. But you always just dismiss the thoughts and return to that gossamer thin attention on your breath. So our first meditation will be for just 5 minutes, and then we'll take a break and meditate a little longer. So when we're meditating, it can be really difficult to let go of our thoughts because they're so interesting. They're so colorful and dynamic, and we're so used to following them. And you want to know what this thought is and what that thought is. And I don't know, I'm curious what they're talking about in the front hallway. And I want to know what that sound is that I'm hearing back there. I think it's a water fountain. You know, our minds find things to hook onto and wonder about and get stuck on. And it can be difficult sometimes when a thought comes up and you want to look at it. We want, like Jetsama says, we really like looking at our trash before we throw it out. And like, you don't have to look at your trash before you throw it out. We pick every little thing up and go, well, what's this? I don't know. Well, it's kind of a cool thought. Maybe I'll write it down. I don't know. Maybe I should hold on that thought for later and not just go back to my breath. And I was thinking when I was it's a little tangent, but it'll come back around. When I was little, being Jetsama's daughter, when I was little, I wondered if she could see through walls. And this became very important. I wanted to know whether she could see through walls because, you know, can she see what I'm doing in my bedroom? Can she see when I'm being silly? Like, what is she, you know, can she tell when I'm staying up late, you know, whatever. So I devised an experiment. And she was sitting doing her makeup in one room, and I closed the door and I told her, like, I want, like, can you see through walls? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, well, I'm going to test it. And so I closed the door. I closed the door and I'm like, well, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna go in the other room and I'm gonna do something. And then I'm gonna come back and see if you know what I did. So I went in the other room and I jumped up and down and I spun around in circles and I did handstands and I like jumped on one leg and I just did like all of these crazy different movements I could do. Or like, there's no way she'll guess this. There's no way she'll be able to guess what I did. I did so many different things. Threw a ball in the air. I did all these things. And I come back and I'm like, what did I do? And she's like, you're acting like an idiot. I was like, I really don't have a defense for that. Like, I'm like, I want to be like, no, I did this and I did that and I did that. And like, you're right. That's what I was doing. I was acting like an idiot. Like, okay. So funnily enough, this is a repeat. She had the exact same story with her mom, and she did this with her mom one time when she was little. And I think her mom said the same thing. But so this family tradition. But so when we're meditating, you can know whatever your mind's doing, it doesn't matter if it's jumping up and down and spinning in circles, it is acting like an idiot. And you can just let it go. You don't have to pay attention to that. You don't have to pay attention to the details of what it's doing. You just let it go. It's being an idiot. The thoughts are trash. Just let them go. You don't have to analyze them. So it can be helpful sometimes to just consider, you know, just to know going into your meditation that our thoughts are thoughts, the sounds are sounds, sights are sights. It's just our sensory perceptions. These are just sounds that are being perceived by our ears, and we don't have to ascribe meaning to them. We don't have to follow them. We don't have to check them out. We can just let it go and come back to our breath. We're going to sit for a longer period of time now.
Now they have cameras for them.
Cameras, you said?
You see through the walls.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily she didn't have Ring cameras yet. Yeah. All right. So we'll come back to our meditation posture. You can breathe in your normal rhythm. And put a very light attention on your breathing. Don't try to control it at all. Just with the most gossamer thin attention. Like a feather, gently ride on the surface of your breath. I think part of why another reason we have trouble letting go of our thoughts is that we think our thoughts will make us happy. We think there's going to be a thought in there that's going to make us happy. We have faith in that. We think if we just keep thinking, there's going to be a thought in there. There's going to be a really good one. And we're going to have some real good thoughts. We're going to have some real good ideas or something. We get FOMO when we're meditating. We get FOMO, which means fear of missing out. We're afraid we're going to miss out on one of those good thoughts. We don't want to just let it go without looking at it. Because what if it's a really good thought? What if that was like the best idea you've ever had in your entire life? And but when we understand that the habitual patterns of our mind are what keep us suffering, what keep us trapped in suffering, then we can start to cultivate JOMO, which is joy of missing out. So then, when you know that just the thoughts are just your monkey mind being your monkey mind, it's just absurdity, then, you're not missing out on anything. You're just missing out on suffering. You're just missing out on the thoughts that are keeping you trapped in samsara. And so then, so you can have the joy of missing out when your attention is on your breath. You can be happy that you're missing out on all that nonsense that's normally in your head. So, so we're going to end with a brief little 3-minute meditation to close with, and then we'll say our dedication prayers. So come back to our meditation posture, our straight back. You can do this meditation anytime. And if you ever want to just do it when you're in your car or in a waiting room or at the bus stop, all you have to have is a straight spine and relaxed body. That's it. When we're on our cushion, we have all of these points that we pay attention to of how we hold our body. But if you want to do it when you're out and about, straight spine, relaxed body. That's it. Then we bring our attention to our breath, just breathing naturally, not putting any pressure on it, just observing it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. Then we're going to close with our dedication prayers. We'll say all three of these. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I have accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas all together, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have, similarly, I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. All right, well, thank you all for coming today.